creativity is at the heart of Bertelsmann. AI empowers our creatives. Multimodal. Develop great stories. Support newsroom editors. Understand storytelling. Get the context. Create new visuals and images. Instantly finding the perfect scene. Build storyboards.
Boom, 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 boom. Gonna shoot your eye down.
Let every story find its song.
In my arms. I'm in love with you.
Pioneer video generation. Rethink workflows from script to screen. Go beyond imagination.
I just got my heart broken, but I look fucking fabulous. Yeah, I'm back in therapy, but I look fucking fabulous.
Empower creatives.
Thank you. As I learned yesterday, the F word, fucking fabulous, is 2 Fs. We can say that, right? So that was one of our artists from BMG, Meek, and I have today and this evening basically halftime results read offhanded from the beach here with excellent speakers talking about how creativity is actually empowering creatives. And AI, of course, empowering creatives, and AI being the topic obviously everywhere and anywhere on the beach here today and this week and last year. Last year we had technologists from Nvidia and OpenAI talking about this. This time we actually want to talk about what's actually happening in the engine room. So I would like to give a big hand and a round of applause to a couple of folks that will give us a market perspective, uniquely globally as well as European. So I would like to say hi to Leo de Bocai from Runway. Welcome a good old friend and chum from the Bertelsmann days, I remember at least, Philipp Schmidt from Webedia, please. And from Fremantle, somebody who's actually based in London, but mostly all over the place normally, so you don't really know where to find him, but I guess that he was here and he excellently said, yes, I'll come to the panel. James Duffin, CEO of Imaginae Studio, an AI native studio from Fremantle. And last but not least, from the Netherlands, Marco Geisen and Ally. So I hope this works. We want to empower creatives, and that's basically my first round. You've been here on the beaches now for the last couple of years, I assume. AI has been always talk of the town. Are we getting anywhere with AI, or is this just workable? Is it just possible, but it's actually not workable in the sense of actually being used in production? I don't want to hear Runway's version of this yet in a second, but maybe James, you want to kick it off.
Sure. So just for background, Imaginae Studios is an AI native studio from Fremantle. So we create film and television intellectual property using generative AI models. So everything we make, the audio, the video, is all done in those models. So we started in October last year, and we have our first production made with partnership with Runway. It's called Art Awakens. It's a series of short films exploring the inner worlds of some of the most iconic art pieces in the world. And I can't reveal too much yet, but we're in commercial discussions with potential broadcasters, all the kind of stuff. But we're a fully functional business. AI is at the center of everything we do. So to answer your question, yeah, we're fully operational in AI.
Probably that's the good news, right?
Yeah.
Marco, at RTL Netherlands, you've been cooking in the brand advertising space for some time. We'll see actually in a minute, actually from each and every one of them, examples. So, we'll try to put some actual real-life examples behind it, but maybe just a quick kind of, where do you see this all going? Is it AI slop or snake poison that we're kind of being victimized of as media companies?
Well, I think you have a fair point on the danger. However, if you have skilled people, people who have a taste, creatives that know what they do, then there will be no slop. Then it will be exactly what you need for your mission. In my case, it's creating tailor-made campaigns for our clients running on our networks, mostly known for branded content and program sponsorships. So no, I don't think that there will be AI slop in my not on my watch.
Leo, I mean, Runway has come quite a way, and I can remember sitting in your offices in New York, and I think here the great man himself, who actually did it well, is sitting here as well. I remember that we were sort of looking at video models. The market has definitely changed now, especially when you look at the higher end of things. How do you see this?
Yeah, so for everyone who isn't familiar with Runway, we're an image and video research company, and we help a lot of partners, including Bertelsmann, that we're very happy to partner with, bring this content into their production pipelines. I personally lead our co-production efforts with all of our studios. So to your earlier question, we're seeing this with all the established studios, entertainment companies, networks, as well as the new studios, which is, I think, so exciting because it's the birth of new creativity and the reformation of existing creativity. And at the base is exactly to your point, real creatives, artists, marketers, everyone who's here with us today. As Reese was saying, the space has changed, right? You guys are, I'm sure, subjected to, we talked about this earlier, people who are saying to you, you need to jump on this model now. You need to be, you're late, you're going to be left behind and it's not going to happen for you. And then 2 weeks later, the next person comes to you and says, you're going to be left behind, you have to use my solution. I think what's permanent through all of that is the relationships that you build and the actual platform and the strategy that you have together. So thinking about your business and your needs within that, and then partnering with the right provider of a range of tools is what's coming through them.
I mean, tool chains and different tools, etc., is a good point. Philip, you've been sort of in publishing, and Webedia has sort of transformed the businesses over multiple times. And I mean, the AI race is now run sort of reimagining it. Is AI maybe not only a tool, but actually an underlying label for transformation?
Yeah, so Webedia Elephant, for those who don't know, is a French origin international production and technology company. And we combine media, content creators, life experiences, and also production facilities in the same company. And what bothers me in the whole AI talk is that it's oftentimes considered as a race towards the bottom. Everybody's talking about more content, faster, cheaper. So I think that's not the point we should discuss here. I think that AI should be used for not creating more noise, but creating more meaning. So it's a precision tool in human hands who stays, in my belief, the artist. So I think the tools are democratizing all over, but what really prevails is the idea and hence humanity. And so what we did at Webedia Elephant, we created an AI creative studio, which is called Human After All, where we basically onboard content creators, our own producers, and even partners from brands and agencies to basically help them to augment their skills and to have like a co-creation for new content, for new concepts. And especially in a company where we're used to do tailor-made bespoke solutions all the time, I think we're entering a new era where we can basically, in a good way, elevate the speed and the precision of customer bespoke solutions with those partners. And I think it's important to create value and not always like talk about productivity only, because I think that gets us to the next level of the discussion.
So maybe we actually dive into the next actually elements, how AI can sort of scale, and actually go into some of the examples that you actually were so kind to actually sort of share with us, and we'll go through them sort of a little bit one by one. But I'd be sort of curious to also have some questions also from the expert panel, because probably the quick question is, how did you do that? What model did you use mainly, etc. So let's go a little bit in some of the examples, and I'd hope that this is also going to be helpful from the first example, which actually is Runway, and I think you brought along a campaign. Do you want to say something beforehand, before we actually
Totally. So we
So
have
the
an
clip-
in-house creative team, but we partner obviously with creatives. This is a Paris-based studio called Unveil, and they did a campaign for Salomon earlier this year that won a bunch of awards, and it was made entirely on the Runway platform and then edited separately, and it's a beautiful piece.
So, I'll try to kick it.
You've been here before, where everything ends. It begins. And all is yet to be invented. No boundaries. No rules. Just trust. And how far it can take you. Every future is here. Somewhere within ourselves.
A beautiful video. Beautiful video. How much creative control was there from the creatives, and how much did the client influence the actual imagery and so on? How much liberty was there for the actual creatives?
Okay, I think, please don't leave me alone in this. Who here has already used an AI tool? Can you put your hand up, a generative AI tool? Okay. Can you put your hand up if you acknowledge, if you think that you've worked with an AI tool and the model made the work, like the AI did the piece? I have never come across an AI piece made by AI. You've got the person behind it, you guys know that it's countless iterations, you know that it's actually thinking through the wording, the pieces, the inputs that you put through it. That isn't changing from a traditional process. I come from a graphic design, motion design, video background. So before, the tools that we're using were maybe Adobe After Effects and Photoshop and Premiere. The tools that I've used are different. The way that I'm approaching them is most part the same, other than it's not linear. So if we want to think about the process of how this was done, if we think about a traditional production process, it's quite linear. We're thinking about the concept, we're then coming forward for some like pre-visualization, going to production, making some edits. The difference with AI, which all of you will be familiar with, is that the idea that you have at the base can be your final idea, can be used in the final piece. So the most impressive thing I think in this video is if you see the model that was used there and all those pieces, all of that was in their original presentation deck. They used a real woman who was filmed and everything, but if you saw their actual presentation, I think we have BTS on our website somewhere, all of these elements existed in the initial pitch to the clients. It's the first time that the idea that you sell to the client is actually what you can drive through to the end rather than being limited, and often we know how it is to work with clients.
What you see is what you get virtually. So I think it's a great example, and I think we can stay a little bit more in the sort of more artful area. I think the next example that we want to sort of bring in there, and James already kind of alluded to. Oh no, sorry. We need to earn some money. I forgot, before we actually go to art, we actually have to sort of look at how to earn money at RTL in the Netherlands.
Well, that's a great brand asset that you are sticking, so I like that. We brought a clip of recent productions we made for actual advertisers, so not artists only. And when you work with advertisers, as we all know, they demand full creative control. They're used to decide on the color of every pixel on the screen. So coming up with let AI do the job is not good enough. That will bring you mediocre creativity, but we need top-end, high-end creativity that clients are willing to pay for and that they are proud to air on our channels. And what you're going to see is a recent showreel of recent campaigns with a mix of stream spots, TV spots, sponsorship credits, and some in-program moments that we have created fully with AI. Start the clip.
Proef het geluk van helemaal jezelf zijn.
I'd say we're definitely now in the mood of AI, and we've hit the jackpot. I mean, RTL must be sort of earning so much money now doing all these AI clips.
It's funny that you mention it, and that the perspective that you took out of it. I think there's two things I would like to emphasize, and that one, that our creative strength is exploding. We now can do helicopter things, we can do volcanoes, we can do Lamborghini speedboats just for a sponsorship credit. Normally you would never consider that, so your creativity is out there. On the other hand, a very short clip was the orange guy who was with a selfie mode. That's a series of commercials that if we would have produced it the regular way, then we would have spent twice as much now that we did it with AI. And all the money that we didn't spend on production went into the media buy, which in the end pays the bills.
Always like to hear that. So, question that I'm sort of I saw in one of the clips, just on the bottom right, there was some kind of note contains traces of nuts and no AI, but. How do you see that labeling specifically? How is that evolving in the discussion of advertising? Because if we're seeing a year ago, we were still sort of discussing if advertisers were going to do anything with AI. Now this year, you basically have a whole kind of rooster of brands doing it. How are they sort of taking it?
The European AI Act kind of demands it from August.
Everybody's read it, right? Everybody's read the AI Act, yeah.
So the AI Act will oblige you when you cannot really tell the difference anymore. If you have ducks juggling with eggs and smile and have a conversation, then it's okay. Then even if it's AI or not, the people will kind of find out themselves. But if the distinction is not there anymore, you cannot see, and the script is like for a normal person, the creative choices are like normal person that do normal person things, then you are obliged to mention that there's AI involved in the creation. And the clients are okay with it so far.
Interesting. I mean, whoever believed what they saw in an advertising spot, I'm not sure. But the question I'm seeing now, it may be across the board, maybe for the panel itself, is how do you see advertisers actually relating to AI, Philip?
Well, advertisers depends. I think the luxury is still very, very, let's say, observing. And they really like craft content, very high-end craft content, and they want exactly know if you use AI. Some advertisers like really forbid it. Some others just see it as a productivity tool. I think what makes it again very useful is when you show them that this could not have been done without AI. I have this example I think about for an editorial piece. Our production company produces a French news magazine called 7 à 8 for TF1. And there's this story about this very legendary French sport journalist called Charles Biessery, who literally lost his voice in a live interview due to his disease ALS, right? So we made a piece about him, and we gave him his voice back through AI. So not a sync voice, his voice. So if you manage to do this, technology disappears, emotion stays, right? And a second example I think about was we did this piece about the youth of Iran. And there was like young people testifying about like how there's a daily life, how the regime is suppressing them. So what we did is basically with a deep fake technology, we changed their face so they were still looking just like young, compelling Iranians, but not the big pixels anymore where you look like you're a terrorist. Why? It makes you look guilty, but actually what they had to say was very powerful. So basically AI became a shield of journalism, and I love those examples.
Right. Time is already running out, so let's go to the next example, Imaginae Studios, and I believe that James, the journey of actually building an AI native studio within a Fremantle, which is obviously global and huge in terms of actually also testing the waters in AI on multiple fronts, but also having somebody like you really completely immersed in AI models, worlds, etc. How is this panning out?
Yeah, well, you have to be across all the different AI models because some have different strengths to each other. We've designed the studio with AI at the center of it, so all the workflows that we do would be very different to how a traditional production studio would work. But what still remains the same is human creativity. So we make sure that the original idea, the craft, is still coming from a human perspective. And if you watch the video, I can give you a few more hints of how we did it.
I think the video is definitely all about art. It's called Art Awakens, and you'll have to tell the story actually on how the actual idea came to life in the first place. But let's have a look at something that is pretty spectacular and quite a great collaboration with Runway.
I was walking along a path with two friends. The sun was setting. Suddenly the sky turned red as blood. I stopped and leaned against the fence, feeling deathly tired. Tongues of fire and blood stretched over the bluish-black fjord and the city. My friends walked on. I stood there, trembling with anxiety. And I felt an infinite scream passing through nature. Western eyes read left to right. The wave chases the boats. Japanese eyes read the other way. For them, the boats charge into it. January 1942, 6 weeks after Pearl Harbor. New York is practicing how to disappear. Blackout drills dim the city every night. Street lamps go dark. Windows are covered. An entire metropolis learning to hide from the sky. And somewhere in Greenwich Village, a diner stays open, its new fluorescent lights burning like a provocation against the dark.
The fidelity of is actually so beautiful. You worked with the filmmaker Hilario Abad, but how did it actually come to that collaboration in the first place?
So the idea for this came from Andrea Scrosotti, who's the COO of Fremantle, and he was visiting an art gallery with his children, and one of them was using Grok to animate various paintings. And so it was kind of a genesis of an idea to bring art alive. We went on this journey of exploring 6 of the most famous artworks. You saw there the Scream, the Great Wave, Nighthawks, and there's 3 others. But everything you saw in that production was sketched out by hand by the filmmaker and then fed into Runway to create those animations. So we tried to preserve the artist's style. We used lots of reference paintings from the artist. Plus, you would have seen diary entries from Edvard Munch. So again, like to your point, this wasn't a prompt that we just put in. This was the same process you would go through to make a normal documentary about art. But the results are pretty outstanding.
So before we sort of maybe move on to Webedia, there is a kind of still a gap, in terms of those art around the art of actually doing the possible and then actually coming to some commercial kind of projects. It's still maybe a longer way to get to reality programs, show formats, game shows.
Yeah, we started in animation because the models seem to lend themselves more to animation than live action. But some of the models are really advancing in live action, and I think we'll probably get there within the next 12 months. And you won't be able to tell the difference.
I think that's pretty exciting on the stuff. You're actually starting to use the artful way of actually then sort of sneaking your way into the commercial parts.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the examples where you just see everybody needs to feel in the creative scene needs to feel comfortable, sort of get into the whole mojo of actually working with those tools, and then it will actually become a very powerful tool, I suppose. Philip, we've got Webedia and your brand experiences team. Tell us a little bit on how you are actually using video now in general. We used to know Webedia as a digital publisher in France in gaming and lifestyle. So where is this now going in terms of video?
So it's a video-first company. but video really as a format and storytelling device. So our internal credo is one story, 1,000 windows, right? So the idea is to get the story right and then basically decline it on all different platforms, formats, and even in live events. So it goes very fast. And even live events then again can be used for videos, okay? So the loop is closed. So yeah, video meaning proprietary videos on your digital assets. It means using all different platforms. We have like a huge partnership with like, let's YouTube, others, but also CTV, new streaming partners, RTL, TF1. So basically, it's a distribution strategy which should be integrated natively in your story and your strategy. And so I think it's a beautiful storytelling format. Obviously, as we all know, all the codes and all the rules have been changed lately through AI. Also through what means long, short formats. Is something better than the other? The answers are multiple, and I think in the AI video creative discipline, there's a Champions League, and this Champions League are trailers, are teasers, are basically how can you sum up a complex video story in a shorter piece that makes you wants you see more. And so our production company works also like with the competitors of RTL, unfortunately. But so
no, we're a big, great European family of broadcasters. I mean, they were all here for breakfast, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So what we did for a French show called Mask Singer is this trailer, which is done like with 100% AI tools, with our creative team of IDZ, who are like specialized in Europe for trailers. So maybe we can share this with you.
Bienvenue au village Mask Singer.
C'est quoi ce truc de ouf que je viens de voir? C'est ça, Mask Singer?
T'as encore rien vu, là, pourtant.
T'inquiète, c'est sa manière à elle de te dire bienvenue.
Bienvenue dans notre équipe, monsieur Youn.
J'ai pas encore dit oui, hein.
Mask Singer n'a pas fini de vous surprendre. Nouvelle saison, nouvelle recrue. Vendredi 12 septembre sur TF1.
So, I suppose it's one of those examples where you actually say, okay, the trailer production, the teaser production is one of the key cost items I suppose a broadcaster has, and you want to always elevate it to the next level and sort of create more excitement for the next season and the next point. To close a little bit the round here, and as the time has already kind of elapsed, how do you see the discussion around AI usage, the control that we have on AI, not only the labeling or whether it's authentic or not, how do you see consumers and the audiences, well, how do they react to AI ultimately when it actually now hits the broadcasters, the streamers? It's going to be ubiquitous, right?
I think
Marco.
Their reaction is, as long as the story is great, they don't really care. They will consume it anyway. Maybe even more stories are being generated nowadays than ever. And look at some of the channels on YouTube that are only contain AI-generated stories, and the amount of views and impressions go through the roof. So I think that consumers don't really care what it's made of, as long as the story is great.
So is it basically the audience that's going to decide, or is it the complexity of the workbench?
I think it's the audience. Just to second your point, if you look at franchises like Chloe versus History, they're already getting 10 million views for their videos on Instagram. The audience fully knows it's AI. And if you look at the comments, they're like, this is a great use of AI. So I think as long as it's an entertaining story, audiences don't mind.
Philip, do you think that you'll be able to make more money with AI content?
Yes, I think so, because it can help to make complexity manageable. And at Webedia Elephant, where you basically have so many different assets to orchestrate with partners, reducing complexity has a strong value. And I think we're still, even though people think we're very far down the road, I think we're very beginning. Maybe day 2 of the Cannes Lions is maybe also day 2 out of 1,000 days of AI, because you can still see, I think, in what we've seen, that we're so excited that we want to put all the effects in a content piece. And I think the noise will be in the coming years more reducing, and you will less see the AI, and you give more strength and more emphasis to emotion. Because if it's not touching us, it's just like, wow, I'm blown away. You know, it's just this great, you know, American action movie where it's just like, okay, volcanoes, car exploding, okay, wow, but was the story so great? No. So I think it's a lot of noise, and it will be coming back down, and a more balanced between actually the story and the emotions that we really create, and then the AI that enable it, because there are some ways where you can tell those stories that could not have been done before AI, or with so high costs that we went for other directions. So basically, I think we'll use it in a more just way.
Well said.
Well, there we have it. Then basically, Runway must be the winner, because if the audiences love it, great. And if the complexity increases, also great for a technology company to give you the tools, to give us the tools, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's lovely. Thank you for everything that you said. Definitely wonderful to hear it from your side and to see that reflected. I want to say the last thing is we've talked a lot about the voice, right, and being able to give voice to pieces and stories that previously wouldn't have, to actually give the budget. But I think, Mark, you had a great point about it's also the ears. It's like the budget can be reallocated to the distribution of this. And so not only are people able to create stories they weren't able to do before, but it's being able to spread it. And the technology is so good, thank God, now, that I think we're no longer having, hopefully, conversations about, is it valuable because it's AI? That to me is a boring conversation. It goes back to the story. It goes back to, like, I need this to have touched me. I need this to have told me, taught me something. So we've got the voice, and we've got the ears and the eyes too, which is a lovely place to be at.
Well, I must say, I think it was a quick 30 minutes. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And a big round of applause to our panelists. And I would say we can do our fair share to empower creatives. We can obviously get the best tools. We have to get the best stories. And then we are actually probably still floating atop. So thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Hope you have a nice evening.